Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Our top story, a rare deportation. A chartered plane sending over 100 Chinese nationals back to China, marking the first large-scale removal of its kind in 5 years. Beijing demanding loyalty from Communist Party members living abroad, an order that could put them at odds with U.S. law. Is a popular shopping app spying on U.S. shoppers? A major warning from Arkansas could change how Americans make purchases online.
We have a responsibility in this office. I have a responsibility to ensure that Arkansans' data is protected.
And China seizes a Taiwanese fishing boat, detaining the 5 crew members on it. The bold move marks a 17-year first for Beijing. Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. A deportation flight from the U.S. to China. The U.S. deported 116 Chinese nationals back to China on a chartered flight over the weekend. It's the first large flight of its kind since 2018. It's unclear who the passengers were, though based on a statement from the Chinese embassy in Washington, the group could include Chinese immigrants who illegally crossed into the U.S., as well as people involved in organizing the crossings. The move comes after a surge in illegal Chinese crossers at the southern border in recent years. With the 2024 presidential election just 4 months away, illegal immigration remains a top concern among voters. 8 months into fiscal year 2024, over 30,000 Chinese nationals have crossed into the U.S. southern border. That total is already higher than the count from all of last year. The U.S. has struggled to send illegal Chinese migrants back in the past because China refused to take them back. This removal operation, though, was carried out in cooperation with Beijing. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said the U.S. will continue to enforce its immigration laws and remove individuals without a legal base to remain in the U.S. In the meantime, illegal pathways through the southern border are narrowing for Chinese migrants. A key passageway through the U.S. southern border is closing, called the Darien Gap. It's located in Panama. The nation's new president just signed a deal with Washington to help block mass migration from using the country as a throughway. Another key country for illegal migrants, Ecuador, also started requiring visas for Chinese nationals to enter. It has been an entry point for many illegal Chinese migrants looking to travel north to the U.S. DHS said it's working with China to deport more illegal Chinese migrants, though it remains unclear when future charter flights could happen. An assistant working at a Chinese immigration firm in Los Angeles told VOA that the news is making the rounds. He said, near Los Angeles, almost every new Chinese immigrant I met has been talking about it. A new dilemma. China is stepping up its control over Communist Party members living in the U.S. The regime is asking them to remain loyal, but by following the CCP's orders, these young professionals run the risk of violating U.S. laws. Here's more.
Here's Beijing's list of requests for Chinese Communist Party members in the U.S. Check in with Communist Party officials to make sure they're still loyal to the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP. Tell positive stories about China to their American peers, study political materials, and pay CCP membership dues. That's according to a report from the Financial Times. Right now, there are at least 10,000 CCP members in the U.S. Many of them hold top positions in elite universities, plus big tech and financial corporations. The CCP and its affiliated youth league have been requiring members that study abroad to contact Communist Party cells every 6 months since 2019. The Financial Times interviewed 10 Communist Party members. Among them, students said they followed requests to promote China positively. They also received political study materials from CCP cells back home and have joined online webinars about how to tell a good China story. The students said they want to keep their CCP membership because it would make finding a job in Chinese state agencies or state companies easier after they return to China. Here's the catch. By following Beijing's propaganda push, those party members may violate U.S. law against foreign influence. An attorney said if individuals try to improve the image of a foreign country in the United States, and they're doing it at the request of a foreign political party, they could be at odds with a U.S. law called FARA. Under FARA, individuals acting on behalf of foreign governments to influence U.S. public opinion must register with the Justice Department as foreign agents. For professionals, CCP membership could raise other issues. Communist Party members are not eligible for green cards, with some exceptions. 5 Chinese tech professionals told the Financial Times that they lied about their membership when applying for work visas. Foreign professionals need to apply for H-1B work visas to be able to work in the U.S. Several leading immigration law firms have started asking applicants to clarify their Communist Party affiliations.
The head of the Chinese Communist Party, Xi Jinping, met Russian President Vladimir Putin for the second time in less than 2 months. Putin told Xi on Wednesday that their countries acted in their own interests. Xi responded, saying the two countries, quote, need to maintain a commitment to eternal friendship. Putin and Xi met on the sidelines of a summit held by a security and defense club in the Central Asian country of Kazakhstan. This organization is seen as a tool to counter the influence and strength of the United States and its allies. Russia and China declared a no-limits partnership in February 2022, just days before Russia invaded Ukraine. And during the war, the trade between the two countries helped Russia withstand Western sanctions. A stark warning for online shoppers. Arkansas Attorney General Tim Griffin is urging Americans to avoid using Chinese marketplace app Temu, labeling it a data theft business. NTD's Dana Monahan has more on the troubling allegations.
The Office of Arkansas Attorney General Griffin filed a lawsuit against Temu last week.
We have a responsibility in this office. I have a responsibility to ensure that Arkansans' data is protected.
Griffin says Temu is not an online marketplace like Amazon or Walmart, speaking to Fox Business.
What Temu is doing is selling goods at a rock bottom price, not to make a profit off of those, but as a way to get into your phone, your device.
The Attorney General says the next step is going after your data.
Not just traditional consumer data, but using malware, spyware to have complete access to your information.
Griffin says a peek behind the curtain of who owns Temu makes the allegations more ominous.
All of this against the backdrop of who owns the company, who operates the company, which are Chinese communist officials, former Chinese communist officials.
Temu is operated by Shanghai, China-based parent company Pinduoduo Incorporated. The lawsuit is seeking a jury trial, as well as a permanent block against Temu's data collection activities. It also seeks a $10,000 fine for each violation of an Arkansas state law known as the Deceptive Practices Act. The suit primarily cites research from Grizzly Research, which analyzes publicly traded firms. In its report, Grizzly Research says it suspects that Temu is already or intends to illegally sell stolen data from Western country customers. This to sustain a business model it says is otherwise doomed for failure. The report states that Temu is estimated to be losing $30 per order. In a statement after the lawsuit was filed, Temu said the allegations in the lawsuit are based on misinformation circulated online. According to analytics website Backlinko, Temu was the most downloaded shopping app around the world in 2023, with more than 330 million downloads. That's about 1.8 times more than the Amazon shopping app. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
A Taiwanese fishing boat and its crew detained by China's Coast Guard Tuesday night. Taiwan said the Chinese Coast Guard boarded the boat before steering it to a port in mainland China.
The Coast Guard calls on the mainland side not to use political factors to handle this situation. Please clarify the reasons as soon as possible and release the boat and people. The incident happened within China's inner sea. The location where the ship was boarded is 11.2 miles away from Shenhu town in Zhenjiang, China, and is located in China's territorial waters.
Taiwan's Ministry of Agriculture said there are some overlapping areas where fishermen from China and Taiwan have both been operating. The Taiwanese boat was seized in one of these areas. Taiwanese maritime authorities said in a statement that the Taiwanese boat was intercepted by two Chinese vessels near the Kinmen Islands. The group of islands are a short distance off China's coast, but are controlled by Taiwan. The statement said Taiwan dispatched 3 vessels to rescue the boat, but were blocked by Chinese ships. The seized boat had 5 crew members on board, including 2 Taiwanese and 3 migrant workers. Fishermen from both Taiwan and China regularly sail the stretch of water near the Kinmen Islands. Tensions have risen as the number of Chinese vessels have notably increased in the area. Taiwan's Ministry of Agriculture said fishermen from both China and Taiwan have always operated in overlapping areas. The Taiwanese boat did not go beyond the standard areas at the time it was seized by the Chinese side. The U.S. is asking China and the Philippines to de-escalate after their worst confrontation yet in the South China Sea. The Chinese regime and the Philippines held a meeting on Tuesday in an attempt to ease mounting tensions. Washington could get drawn in if a broader conflict erupts between them. That's because of a U.S. commitment to keeping the Philippines safe through a defense treaty. NTD's Jeremy Sandberg has more on the dispute and the reaction from the U.S.
There was no mention of any major deal between the Chinese regime and the Philippines after a day-long meeting in Manila on Tuesday. Talks focused on how to avoid another confrontation in the South China Sea after a clash at the Second Thomas Shoal.
When it comes to the PRC, actions speak louder than words.
China's Coast Guard rammed and damaged 2 Philippine Navy boats and seized rifles and equipment last month. Chinese forces were caught on video using machetes, an axe, and improvised spears. After the confrontation, the U.S. renewed a warning. It's obligated by law to help defend the Philippines if Filipino forces come under an armed attack. The president of the Philippines said the Chinese regime's actions would not activate the treaty because no shots were fired, but he stressed the Philippines would defend its territorial interests at all costs. A State Department spokesman said Tuesday the U.S. would welcome any steps to de-escalate tensions in the South China Sea.
But actions speak louder than words, and clearly, especially in the South China Sea, especially in the context of the Second Thomas Shoal, you have seen PRC actions be inconsistent with a stated goal, perhaps, of de-escalation.
The Philippines Department of Foreign Affairs stated Chinese and Philippine delegations had affirmed their commitment to de-escalate tensions on Tuesday night. The statement said there was substantial progress, but significant differences remain. The Chinese regime claims almost the entire South China Sea. The claim overlaps with territories of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Brunei. A 2016 international ruling found Beijing's claims lack legal basis under international law, but the CCP ignored the ruling and has only expanded its aggression since then. Jeremy Sandberg, NTD News.
That's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. We're now sharing a shortened version of our program here after being demonetized for 3 years. If you'd like to support us, consider donating. Find us at donorbox.org/China-in-focus or subscribe to our partner platform Epic TV, where you can watch our full episodes. Just click the link down below. Here's what to look out for in our second half. How far has China gone in its preparation for war with Taiwan? And is China's aggression towards the Philippines a dress rehearsal for greater violence?
I'm not sure that what we're seeing is an indication of a very imminent invasion or a blockade of Taiwan.
And Canada's State Pension Board is still pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into China to help it produce more electric vehicles, even as Ottawa works to manage a surge of Chinese EVs into the country. That's coming up. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. See you tomorrow.